my name is Norah Bean, and this summer I've been doing content development for the Oregon Coast Aquarium. I've been writing pieces for their website in support of the opening of the Connected Coast Gallery. So to begin, today I will be talking about background on my project and just the importance of background on the aquarium and the importance of science and technology centers as places for education. And then I will be talking about my project and the methods involved. And then I'll also talk about the future of the project and some of the cool things that I got to experience. While working at the aquarium. So what is the Oregon Coast Aquarium? If you're not aware, the aquarium is located just down the street from here. The aquarium is a nonprofit organization accredited by the Association of Zoos and Aquariums. With this accreditation, the aquarium prides itself in its excellent care of its animals and providing a wonderful experience to visitors. The aquarium has welcomed over 15 million visitors since 1992, and over 40,000 students visit the aquarium every year. And the majority of visitors are families. The aquarium is also home to over 61,000 fish and invertebrates spread across almost 400 different species. The top picture here shows the aquarium when it was around the time it was first opened. And then the bottom picture is a more recent photo of one of the in the exhibit Passages of the Deep. So the aquarium is a home to a wide variety of species, showing the diversity of the Oregon coast, including pinnipeds, sea otters, jellyfish, the giant Pacific octopus, sharks, tough puffins, and so many more. Visitors are able to not only gain an understanding of these species, but also to understand and appreciate their importance and to learn how we can all support these ecosystems and its creatures. I'm so sorry. Oh, there we go. Okay, so previous research has shown that biodiversity understanding and knowledge of actions to help protect biodiversity both significantly increased during zoo and aquarium visits. However, another study showed that it may take some more time for visitors to fully take in knowledge after an educational experience. I think this last point really drives the purpose of my project that I did this summer, which I will get into very shortly. So another previous research has shown that there's a disconnect between what information is accessible and what is reliable. As emphasized in the blue rectangles, the majority of Americans get their science news from general news outlets. However, only 28% of Americans say that these sources get the science facts right most of the time. On the other hand, only 12% of Americans get their science news from science and technology centers. However, compared to every other source, these centers have the most trust with Americans, with 54% saying that they get the science facts correct. So this kind of ties into the aquarium's vision of the vision that it is a trusted resource for ocean education and conservation in the Pacific Northwest. And my project this summer worked to uphold this vision with the opening of Connected Coast, which is opening this upcoming fall. So what is Connected Coast? Connected Coast will house 16 exhibits with about 100 different species. It will showcase the many different ecosystems not yet explored at the Oregon Coast Aquarium, including many species from the Indo-Pacific. However, there's a lack of accessible and reliable information on these species in the gallery. Based off a quick Google search, if you look up pretty much any of these species, the only information that comes up is from hobbyist aquarist websites, which a lot of this information is not reliable. And then the information that is out there that is reliable is in the form of scientific journals or very specific research reports. And even if this information is accessible to the public, it involves a lot of jargon and is above the average reading level of most Americans. And even though the gallery is under construction currently, this is a picture of one of the tanks with some of my favorite species that will be in the gallery, which I will talk about. Okay, so the goals of my project was one, to develop content for the Oregon Coast Aquarium's website, volunteer training, and social media in support of the opening of Connected Coast. Two, to translate scientific material into age-appropriate content for target audiences. And three, create an effective and accessible mode to educate aquarium visitors. So my project involved creating species lists and ecosystem descriptions. Species list covers information on the 100 different species in the gallery. Meanwhile, ecosystem descriptions were individual descriptions for mangrove forests, coral reefs, California kelp forests, and seagrass beds. Both of these will be available on the website, which guests will be able to access via QR code near the exhibit. So they can easily just take their phone, scan the QR code, and it will direct them directly to the website. So this is what the species list looks like. I was given a template by the education team, which they've been using to write about species in their rocky and sandy coasts. This is what like the blank template looks like. It involves the species name, their scientific name, other common names, range, habitat, diet, their IUCN Red List status, which if you don't know, the IUCN Red List is a resource that evaluates the population status of species around the world. It also includes where the species is located at the Oregon Coast Aquarium, its appearance, life history, fun facts, ecosystem, and cultural importance, as well as citations and range map. You can also notice that it includes where the species is located on the Oregon coast. However, since a lot of these species that I was writing about is located in the Indo-Pacific, that usually did not apply. And then this, after researching and compiling information, about each species, this is what a completed template looks like. And then once the completed once the species list is completed, marketing adapts the finished template for the website to look like this. In doing so, guests and pretty much everyone can access this information at any time since it's available on the website. It also upholds trust since it is accessible and it comes from reliable sources. And I also hope that it would encourage more people to rely on the Oregon Coast Aquarium as a resource for science information. So these are some of my favorite species that I've been writing about. On the left here is the Christmas tree worms, which come in a variety of colors and burrow into coral reefs. The top fish here is the blue streak cleaner Ross, which have any of you seen the movie Shark Tale? Yep. So if you have the main character Oscar in that movie was inspired by this species, and they're also really important to coral reef ecosystems because they eat parasites and dead skin off of other fish. And then my favorite fish, which is currently behind the scenes at the aquarium, is the Banggai cardinal fish, which is endangered and is only naturally found in the Banggai archipelago in Indonesia. And fun fact, the spots on the Banggai cardinal fish, like the spotted pattern, is unique to every individual. Okay, so for ecosystem descriptions, I designed a template, one that was pretty similar to the species list. It included the name of the ecosystem, it's a general description, including its location and some distinguishing characteristics. And then that is followed by what other creatures can be found here. So that doesn't just include creatures that are found at the aquarium, but just around the world. And it's not necessarily just marine animals to show that other animals rely on these ecosystems as well. For example, the Bengal tiger actually relies on mangrove forests for foraging habitat. And then it goes into importance, which is broken into ecological, cultural, and economic importance. And then the ecosystem descriptions also include human impact, which answers the question, how have humans impacted this ecosystem and what efforts are being made to preserve this ecosystem, which includes global and local impacts, and then also what can we do to support this ecosystem. So a lot of these ecosystems are not located on the Oregon coast. So I thought it was really important to show guests at the aquarium and visitors of the website what efforts can we do to support these ecosystems? And then the ecosystem description ends with what species at the Oregon Coast Aquarium from these ecosystems can be found here, and then citations, of course. And then this is what a finished ecosystem description looks like after completing the template. As you can see, there's a lot of information here, and it's not very engaging and not very captivating. So how do we engage guests and want them to learn more about these ecosystems? So I created a mock-up website, which I presented to the marketing team. It's just a lot more engaging. Photographs can be, when you click on a photograph, it gives more information about the species, but it also will direct guests to the species list, so they can go back and forth between species lists and the ecosystem descriptions. And then marketing will use this mock-up to create one similar for the aquarium website using the format that the aquarium already uses. Okay, so while I was writing, I had three main things in mind: message, word choice, and reliability. For message, as I think someone mentioned earlier, talking about environmental issues can be honestly very depressing and overwhelming. And when you bombard people with a lot of negative information, it can result in people not really wanting to do anything because they feel hopeless. So I wanted to make sure I had a good balance of not only educating visitors on the environmental issues, but also staying optimistic. So for the ecosystem descriptions, talking about what humans have done to impact the ecosystems, but also what efforts are currently being done or could be done. And then also making sure that the writing aligns with the Oregon Coast Aquarium's values and vision. And then also for word choice, audience was really important. As I said before, the aquarium's majority of the visitors are families. So I made sure I was writing at around an 8th grade reading level, which is pretty standard for organizations like the aquarium. So this involved avoiding jargon and any terminology that is not used in middle school or high school, and making sure that the writing is also engaging, which I used comparisons that people can relate to and asking questions. And then finally, for reliability, all the information that I got on the species and ecosystems came from the IUCN Red List, peer-reviewed scientific journals, as well as government agencies. And then everything I made sure to include full citations in ecology style. Okay, so what's next for this project? Given the time restraint of 10 weeks, I was able to complete 40 species lists and 3 ecosystem descriptions, which leaves a little more than half of the species in the gallery needed to be written about, and one ecosystem description left. So this upcoming fall, I hope to complete the species list and ecosystem descriptions. And then, as I mentioned before, one of the goals was to support volunteer training and social media. Which I wasn't able to get to, but I hope that the research and the information that I compiled will help support both of these. And then I also hope to conduct evaluations with the Oregon Coast Aquarium visitors and guests to get feedback on the material, and then also make adjustments accordingly. And then, as time allows, help with sandy and rocky coasts. The species list for both of those galleries as well. So working at the aquarium has been such a fun and rewarding experience. And part of the perks of working at the aquarium, I got to do a lot of other fun things in addition to my normal responsibilities. So I helped out at on the beach event that Cascade Head organizes. The aquarium had a booth, and I talked with visitors about migrating animals that live off the coast of Oregon. So that was really fun. And then one of my favorite things that I've been doing at the aquarium every Tuesday and Thursday, I get to feed the sharks and the rays. So that was definitely I don't know when I would ever get to experience it again. So that was awesome. And then this Friday, I'll actually be helping feed the otters and the sea lions. So I'm really looking forward to that. To wrap up, I want to say a big thank you to MACO and the Oregon Coast Aquarium and Seabird Scientific for supporting all of the interns. I want to give a huge thank you to Carrie Morgan, my mentor and the director of education at the aquarium, and of course Cynthia, the internship coordinator, and a big thank you to the education and marketing departments at the aquarium. Thank you.